Within BearingPoint, we are all about data. Data management, engineering and analytics, for us, it's not all the same, but part of the cycle we try to achieve with customers. We support customers from strategy, business case, to the phase of orchestration, in which we support the customer if they want something for their individual employees to increase productivity, to the build, but also the maintenance of custom-built complex agents. And for that reason, we believe more and more AI governance should be on the table, because scaling AI in such a way that it's also sustainable and successful, we need to see the entire picture. Why the partnership with Deeploy? Basically, to close the gap on what we do on data management, analytics, and also the building of AI with enterprise deployment, scalable and secure. That's why we need Deeploy, and we're very happy to see it as a partner.
Many organizations have strong data teams working on AI use cases, have the right AI products, working on a lot of different use cases at the same time. But they struggle to get beyond POC, MVP, hobby projects and those kind of things. So actually going to production is difficult for them. For Deeploy, that was always the starting point, making sure that organizations can scale the AI use cases without losing control. Think about monitoring, governance, compliance, and tracing and logging of every AI use case, onboarding them quickly on our system. But that's not all. You need to have that translation in the organization. You need to scale from data products to AI products. And that's why we're proud to work together with a company like BearingPoint. In collaboration with BearingPoint's data team, we are able to help our customers scale their data and AI products beyond the POC and MVP to production. And that's why we're proud to work together and be official partners. You see it all the time, isn't it? Like those companies that have tons of different AI systems, use cases, different environments they're working in, but it's super hard to keep that overview and to ultimately have some governance in place, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I even will go farther that people don't know really what AI is all about and what it can deliver. Sometimes you see one use case just for individual people. Some have an enterprise AI, the story. The first step is making sense which problem are they solving, because most of the time they already have a lot of AI there, but nobody really knows what it's all about.
And it's a pity, right? It stays somewhere hanging in personal projects, in stuff that potentially goes to production and then is pulled back again. So it is really, it's not just a way of keeping control and risk mitigation. It's also a way to actually enable things going to production.
But so it's also about understanding from beginning what value is all about, because it should be a business focus and not a technology focus. As that's why also I think that the word governance needs to be introduced. You need to really know what to organize to make it sustainable and scalable, basically.
Yeah, but what we see actually is that, you know, when organizations are maturing, you should also see different ROI, different business cases. Yeah. So for the first use case, it's basically enablement of actually going to production. When you talk about 10 use cases, that high risk and high impact use case that needs to have the guardrails in place. Yeah. When we talk about 100 or 1,000 use cases, we see them more and more nowadays. It's simply having oversight and control. Without that, you run into so much shadow AI and other risks.
No, I agree completely, and it's also the need why you need to have architecture, because it is just putting it out there 5 or 6 or 7 or 70 agents without knowing how they need to be there in the platform.
No.
So yes, it's a technological question, but it's also understanding, again, what do we really want to achieve with it? Because everybody's about AI. And of course, nobody is looking at the backside. How can I organize AI?
Yeah, so you're saying you need to combine the business value on the front side, basically, with the architecture and the infrastructure on the back ends. Yeah.
But also taking the magic out of AI and letting it see what it really can deliver.
Which is hard. Which is hard.
True. Yeah. But you need to, if you take out just what it is, because it's very important. You can do a lot with it. Let's be honest. No. But most people just look at it as all for technology, while you should organize it in such a way that it can also bring what it does, instead of being blinded by its way.
The shiny objects.
The shiny objects, exactly. Let's move beyond the shiny objects. See if it's really a diamond.
It's tempting, though, I have to say personally. Like playing around with it is also fun. But I do agree, if you really want to build something that's production ready, that is also assisting a business critical process. Yeah. You need to have the controls in place. Without that, I don't see it flying. It stays somewhere in a nice set, yeah.
We have seen it with data, which you also see as a source of inspiration. But well, basically, it's currency. If you don't use it well, nobody uses it well. I think AI is the next step.
Yeah.
There's of course a link with data, but the understanding that AI governance or AI itself is more about the output and data is about the input, really makes it sure that you need to think from beginning to how you do an enterprise deployment.
Yeah.
You could have a small company, a large company, but still, from an enterprise perspective, you need to take it into account. And that's, I think, is also why we work together, because we can see the problem from a business level and translate it basically to, for instance, a solution, that we need something which is proven technology to basically counter the new great technology AI provides us.
Yeah, so
I like deploying this.
yeah, so basically, indeed, our collaboration is also
True.
it makes sense. Like,
yeah.
it's making a plan. It's understanding those businesses, which, if you walk around there for years and we don't, you understand that much better. But translating their needs and their strategy into actual AI use cases, AI platforms, etc. But also making sure you keep governance in a platform that's scalable. I think that really makes sense. And we see that also in practice now, of course, with multiple customers.
That's what I like about Deploy. I'll mention it now. Let's go almost a commercial. You have set yourself apart from the business question, which make that you become independent and partial in your judgment. That is different in the market for us. That's why we work with you.
Looking forward to the upcoming years.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And from our side, of course, we use Deploy more and more as a project tool. So we also have basically benefits, which you cannot develop ourselves. It's also a win-win here for us a bit.
Obviously.
So, and especially for the more, we use Deploy for custom build agents. So not yet for the individual productivity agents. Is that something you also service?
We do. Yeah. So also we even see it internally. So a lot of people are utilizing Cloud Code, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
Also there, you need to make sure you're logging everything, you have traceability. Even if you're not looking at everything at the same time, you need to find a way to log, trace, monitor, trace back whenever things go wrong. Have guardrails in place, for example, not leaking IP data. So we have customers using Deploy for exactly that use case as well.
So also not only for the governance, but also for AI deployment based process.
No, you can actually use Deploy also for Cloud Code, Cloud Co-working, the OpenAI alternatives for that. So that means that Deploy is able to trace all the different steps in between a prompt and the end result. So for example, the code. And if things are unexpected, wrong, if it creates mistakes, you can trace back actually what's happening. So that's actually, we see that more and more customers are using Deploy exactly for those kind of use cases, because this is going to be tricky over the upcoming years. People build a lot of code. I know people that are building 60,000 lines of code every month. No way they're looking at everything, but when things go wrong, you need to have a way to trace back what happened.
For consistency and standardization from a business perspective, I agree completely. And it's also a way of basically educating people to use AI in a proper way. And that's the question, is AI here to stay? We get that question a lot. And in the beginning I was a bit skeptical. I thought that possibly could be a hype, but now because AI has been done by the individual and the organization, instead of, for instance, the more traditional ways of looking at CRM and ERP, I think AI is to stay. Maybe not in this format, can evolve the coming years, because the computing power becomes stronger and stronger, and also intelligence itself becomes much more accurate, but still there is a need to monitor that, not only from company needs, but also from a judicial needs. And that's why I think your problem will also evolve more and more the coming years, because it becomes more intricate to see what needs to be monitored. First is data, then possibly metadata, then the output, ethical use. And that's something we will not do, but we will be the design of it. That's what BearingPoint does.
Let us take care of the platform then.
Yeah, okay. We'll take care of the platform. I think that is a great partnership.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, thanks.